In my more than 30 years of practice, I've been privileged to care for the injuries of athletes from the pros to the elites to the collegiates, even down to the weekend warriors like myself, from all over the United States and Europe as well, and in various sports, from ballerinas to basketball players to football players to tennis players to race car drivers, and of course my runners as well. Hello, my name is Dr. Robert Bartosh of Proactive Wellness and Injury Center, and invariably through the years, most of the athletes have told me over and over again, they've said, "Doc, you gotta tell people what you can do, because if it hadn't have been for so-and-so, I might never have come to you and never known that you'd been able to help me." So on that bit of advice that I consider very good advice, I'm going ahead and making this video so that I can share with you and let you know what we have been able to do and possibly be able to help you as well with the situation you might have. So in doing so, I pulled up just some of our former cases that we've had, just to share with you some of those successes that they've enjoyed. We had an individual who had a rotator cuff tear following 2 surgeries. He had gone in for surgery, and after the surgical procedure to repair the rotator cuff, he still had a very limited range of motion in his shoulder, and he was experiencing substantial pain. About 3 years later, he followed up with a second surgery, and that was deemed for the condition that they diagnosed as failed surgical syndrome, to repair the damage that had been done by the first surgery. And after the second surgery, he again underwent physical therapy sessions, actually daily, for about 2 weeks, and then they graduated him to 3 times a week for about a month. Unfortunately, after that time, it still resulted in loss of range of motion, and he was still in constant pain. Coming into us, I'm very pleased to say that after treating him for about a month, we were able to achieve full range of motion, and the individual was experiencing no pain whatsoever. We had a football player. He was running down the field, and when he did, he broke one of the bones in his foot. It's called a dancer's fracture. He went into a doctor, and they told him that he would be taken out of the game for the rest of the season. He would have to sit on the sidelines until it healed up. Fortunately, he was told by somebody to come to us. He came in on crutches. Within 2 weeks, he was off the crutches. His bone, the fracture, was totally healed, and he was back on the field playing. Had another individual, a young lady, as a matter of fact, she was one of our triathletes, and she experienced a lateral inversion sprain of her right ankle when she was running. She also went to an orthopedic surgeon who, upon examination and taking the x-rays, deemed that she had a second-degree sprain, a high ankle sprain. She was put into a boot, and she was to walk in this boot for approximately 6 weeks, after which she was then to return to the doctor for follow-up care. Well, again, she too was recommended to come and see us, which she did. And I saw her after the examination. We treated her and created a treatment plan for her. 4 days into her care, she came into us quite excited. She was able to resume her exercise. She'd bicycled for 45 minutes earlier that day in absolutely no pain, and 4 days later she was able to resume her training for the upcoming triathletic event, and she was running out of the office without a limp. Had another individual, and she had a labial tear in her rotator cuff, and she was in severe pain. It was a 10 out of 10 according to her admission. She had substantially limited range of motion, and she also went to another doctor who advised her to consider surgery. She came to us after that on the recommendation of another individual, and she was one of our elite athletes, exercising 3 to 4 times a week. She also was a triathlete. We developed a treatment plan for her that was prescribed. In 4 weeks, her Pain was totally eliminated, the range of motion was fully restored, and the labial tear, as confirmed by MR, was totally healed. Now, some other conditions that we've helped have been concussions grade 1 through grade 3, that we've seen total resolve from 1 to 3 weeks. Now, again, understand that these are our averages. They are not empirical. That means that they're not everybody that comes in isn't going to get the same results in the same amount of time. But on an average, we've had those with ligament sprains and muscle strains, first and second degree. We've treated them and gotten them back onto the field within 2 to 5 days in most cases. Tendinitis, whether it be inflammatory or degenerative, we've had them resolved within 1 to 3 weeks in most cases. Cartilaginous tears. Now you have to understand, surgery can be and should be totally avoided. Surgery should also always be considered as a last resort, especially as an athlete, because as I've told all of my athletes, this body that you occupy is the most important piece of equipment that you have, and it cannot be replaced. So what you've got to do is to take the best possible care of it that you are able to do. So again, because of some of the results of failed surgeries, you always want to consider it last. Anyway, getting back to this, as I was saying, with the meniscus tears and labrum tears in the shoulders, anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks typically. Even those post-surgical recoveries where they have surgically repaired the meniscus or the labrum and they're still experiencing a continuation of the pain and a reduction in the function, we've helped them to overcome it within about a 2 to 4 week period. Ligaments and tendinous tears, primarily the Achilles and those in the rotator cuff and or the ACL, especially in young ladies, anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. And getting into other tears, more substantial, of the same areas, Achilles and rotator cuffs, in about a 4 to 6 week period, getting them back onto the field so that they can return to their game. And regarding fractures, we've been successful with stress fractures, with the rib and collarbone fractures, and also the other one, the avulsion fracture that I mentioned earlier when I talked about the football player who broke one of the bones in his feet. Anywhere from 2 to about 4 weeks. We had one professional hockey player who came to us. He had fractured both bones above the wrist, the radius and the ulna. He was supposedly going to be written off for the rest of the season. We had him back on the ice in a 3-week period. Also, runner's knees, and of course shin splints, and the plantar fasciitis or fasciitis, however you'd like to pronounce it. Look, we can help that. We can help these conditions, and we did in those conditions with the plantar fasciitis, runner's knee, shin splints, usually in about a 1 to 4 week period. You've got to understand also that your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. It's always in a state of regenerating in itself, and it's always in a state of repair. Now, these individuals, I want you to understand why one reason we are so successful in what we do with these individuals is because they get to us as quickly as possible. Again, I tell all of my athletes that this body that they occupy is the most important piece of equipment that they own. And if you're aspiring to use your talents in whatever sport you're engaged in to secure a college scholarship, or perhaps make a career of it, a profession of it, it behooves you then to listen to your body. And that's what these individuals did. At the first sign of an injury, you don't want to dismiss it. Your body's talking to you, it's telling you something, and you certainly don't want to suck it up as they tell you and play through it. You want to take care of it as quickly as possible. Look, surgery as a last option, and the drugs that you might be taking or they might prescribe to you all they are doing is enabling you to tolerate the pain that's being generated in your body by the injury, the damage, or the problem that you have. The longer that problem, the injury, or the damage is unaddressed or is ignored, the worse it's going to become. And it could cost you your career. It could cost you your college diploma, or your scholarship, I should say. So I wanted to share that information with you, and I hope it's been of benefit. And I did this on the advice of all of the athletes that we've cared for and are continuing to care for. If you'd like additional information, we invite you to visit one of our websites that we have specifically dedicated to our athletes, is prosportsdoc.com, or you can visit pro followed by a hyphen activewellness.com. And on those you'll see other videos, testimonials of athletes of other conditions that we were able and successfully able to care for in their situation. And if you found this beneficial, I might suggest and offer that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Proactive Wellness, all one word, Proactive Wellness. And there you'll find a multitude of videos, again, of athletes, various conditions, and information that you can apply to your body in regards to your health that will help to ensure the best performance of your life. And look, if you're in a situation and you want some help, and you've been told that surgery is the only option, or you've got to suck it up and learn to live with it, or whatever it might be, and you're concerned about it, please don't hesitate to contact us. I want to thank you for viewing this video, and until the next one, and as always, God bless.